Sometimes in the noise of social media, we forget to pause and ask, what if we are wrong? Okay? What if instead of the truth, we are simply echoing the voice of our own biases? Because lately, a harmless, beautiful child's birthday, that is Imade, Davido's daughter, has been dragged into needless controversy. And we must talk about it, oh. Yes, we must talk about it. Not in anger, but with clarity, heart, and hope. Imade's recent birthday celebration should have been a moment for smiles, for unity, and above all, for love. But sadly, some corners of the internet have chosen to turn the narrative upside down completely, and I honestly don't know where those narratives are coming from. Certain bloggers and self-styled commentators hiding behind assumptions and all those they are and allege them and have big conclusions then began pushing the idea that Imade wasn't happy or free with her dad, Davido, during the celebration. According to them, her supposed body language betrayed discomfort, and the reason they said must be her mother, Sophia Momodu. Now let's pause right there. How do we as adults look at a child's joyful celebration, a special day filled with music, balloons, family, and love, and walk away with such a toxic narrative? How did we even arrive at that? Was it not the same video that we saw together? How do we reduce a moment so pure, so sacred, into a weapon to shame her mother, Sophia Momodu? Because that was what that was meant to do, that narrative. Because let's be clear, that's what this is. This is not about Imade. This is about Davido. This is a targeted attempt to paint Sophia Momodu as a villain in a story that simply does not even exist. And that should deeply trouble all of us. This should trouble all of us. If you watch the same video I did, if you saw those pictures closely, you would have seen something else entirely that is completely different from that narrative being pushed out there. You will have even seen Davido and Imade sharing moments, laughing, walking side by side, intermittently, all through that event. You will have seen a father and daughter surrounded by family, including no less than a person than our own amiable Governor Adeleke, and his friend Dele Momodu, the two pillars who made this reunion possible in the first place. You will have seen joy, not tension, not manipulation. Just a little girl celebrating her big day with the two people who brought her into this world. That was all we saw. And yes, Sophia Momodu was also there too, smiling, gracious, and ever present, just as Davido was. Those were what we saw. These two parents, despite their history, despite the noise, despite the struggles of co-parenting in the spotlight, they came together for their daughter. It is not that, easy. And that is what should matter most to all of us. They both came together to make that big day happen. And that was what I saw. Why then do some people continue to insist on rewriting a different narrative from what happened on that day? Why do they do that? Why do we allow our biases to strip a woman of her dignity, to question her intentions as a mother, simply because she's not in a romantic relationship with the father of her child? When did it become fashionable to vilify a woman for simply existing? Because that is what they were trying to do with that video that I saw. Now let's talk about facts. Sophia has always supported the relationship between Imade and her father, and multiple pictures are all over the internet to buttress this. Okay? So there's no evidence, none whatsoever, that she has poisoned her daughter's mind. And why would she do that? In fact, anyone who has followed their story knows that Imade has always been, has been very, very close to her dad. And that closeness did not disappear even at that birthday party that we all saw. It was right there for all to see. If only we had the heart to look and look clearly. So again, we must ask ourselves, why invent friction yet there is none? Why choose chaos over truth? We don't always know the cause of what we say online. A lot of us don't always know. We just come online and peddle all sort of narratives. But we don't always know that this costs some people a lot. A lot, I tell you. Okay? But imagine for a second how it will feel to be a mother reading strangers saying you have poisoned your own child. How will you feel? Imagine the pain, imagine the helplessness. And then ask yourself, was it worth it? And I'm asking everyone, was it really worth it? That narrative that was being peddled, was it worth it? This should have been a moment of celebration. It ought to have been a moment of complete celebration, and I guess it was. It was a victory for co-parenting, a display of maturity, grace, and peace. That was what we saw that day. And to many of us who watched the full event, not just the clips designed to fuel gossip, that's exactly what it was. I can tell you this because I watched it. So here's what we choose to focus on. In this channel, this is what we choose to focus on. Good vibes, the joy, and the unity. That is all we are focusing on Awake Africa TV. So let's salute Governor Adeleke and Sophia Momodu, who both stood like fathers behind the scenes, ensuring peace and balance. Let's celebrate Davido and Sophia for showing up, not for themselves, but for their daughter. Because co-parenting, especially under the glare of public scrutiny, is never easy at all. But on that day, they showed the world how it is done, with elegance, with maturity, and with love. That was all we saw that day. We must protect that energy. We in Awake Africa TV, that is all we desire. And that energy, we have decided to protect it at all costs. We must guard the peace, because this is not about gossip. It's about a child, Imade, a beautiful girl named Imade, whose only concern should be picking the color of her next birthday balloon, not dealing with false stories created by adults who should know better. As we move forward, let's choose better. Let's focus on healing, not hurting. Let's amplify love, not suspicion. And to Sophia and Davido, I want to say thank you for proving that even after the storms, peace is still possible. For showing that co-parenting, when done right, becomes, not just a responsibility, but a gift. And to every parent watching this video, let this be your reminder. When you choose peace, your children always win. And this is what is even very important to all of us. And for those of you who have watched up to this point, this is the big lesson. When there is peace, whether both parents are no longer married, but as long as there is peace, it is the child or the children, in between the two parents, that wins, that always win. And that is the story that is right happening before us here. That is the story. Okay? And that is the story we have chosen, to narrate right in Awake TV, in Awake Africa TV. Not drama, not hate, and certainly not division. Just a family trying, imperfectly but sincerely, to give their child the best. And in today's world, that is something worth celebrating. And I said, we in Awake Africa TV have decided that we are celebrating this event. And regardless of the skewed narrative out there, we have decided that this is the time to celebrate these two parents, to celebrate Governor Adeleke and Dele Momodu, and to once again, wish this reunion, longevity for the sake of our dear Imade. I don't want to make this video too long, but I'm sure that the message is clear. When we see happiness, when we see where peace is reigning, we should come up with narrative that don't exist. Because at the end of the day, peace and love will always triumph. And that is what has happened here. So, like I said, I'm ending this video right now because I don't want to make it too long. What do you think about this story? Please feel free to go to the comment section and leave your thoughts right there. And hopefully, yours sincerely will meet you right there to further the conversation. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.